Hi, I'm Alan Ross. We're here at the RE Plus Conference and Exposition. We're talking to thought leaders about the future of the energy economy. So join us and enjoy. My next guest is Bert Wank. Bert, I want to thank
Pleasure.
you. And when I looked at the name on your Infinirel, because when I looked it up, I thought first of all it's infinite, which I love, and it's reliability, and we're both reliability guys, so we got a lot to talk about in that. But tell me a little bit about Infinirel, your role, and where the company is today.
Yes, thank you, Alan. Yeah, as you properly said, infinite reliability is our mission.
What does your shirt say there?
It says infinite reliability,
But it says
reliable ever after.
Oh, write that down. I wish I'd said that. In fact, Bert, I'm going to be saying that, and I'll act like I made it up.
You know, in fact, it relates to your transformer theme, because our former tagline was transform energy.
Oh, wow.
Which anytime you transform energy, it has to be reliable.
Yeah.
But we really decided on the theme of longevity.
Okay.
It's like being married. Like, diamonds last forever. Everything else fails. So if we can move anything else a little bit closer to a diamond level, reliability is the ever after story.
Okay.
It's like a marriage.
So the company itself, what is the company's mission in life?
Thank you. We want to assure that clean energy reaches the grid reliably, so we don't have to rely on fossil fuels to fill in the gaps when clean energy fails because of the blackouts.
Okay.
And the core driver for that is a mega trend, which is the electrification process. We've got electronics now in everything.
Right.
Starting with solar inverters, you got inverters, these electronic heart pieces in wind power plants, you got those in energy storage systems, battery systems, you have those in electric vehicles to charge them, as well as to move the power from the battery back to the motor. Everything relies on electronic. But we start with solar as our first market entry point.
So you mentioned the word inverters. One of the things is we've had a grid that was, generations, whether it's coal or hydro, you create power and you step it up, then you move it, then you step it down, step it down, step it down until I can plug it into the wall. Today, because we moved from a transformer-based environment to an inverter environment, the transformer has to take power both ways. Everything seems like it's much more complex in terms of it's an inverter-based world.
Yes.
Okay. So you focus on the solar end of that. Explain that a little bit. Where does your company come in?
So the solar owner we're talking about the big elephant, the utility scale solar plants.
Okay.
The asset owner did a major investment in the solar plant, and he expects returns back on this thing. And one of the key culprits of the equity owner not getting the dividends back is the inverter. It fails at unacceptably high levels.
Really?
This is the dirty secret of the industry that nobody wants to talk about, since it's not good.
Yeah.
Right? So we are helping the asset owner to actually improve the reliability and actually regain his money back that he invested. And there's of course a chain of deliverables, right? You've got the asset manager that manages the asset, which requires maintenance. And the challenge in the industry today is, since it's so financially driven, is we want to start to move the mindset, ideally, of being a CapEx-driven, investment-driven deal to actually cater to the longevity, the 25-year commitment of the plant to deliver clean energy by making it reliable. And we look at the number one failure rate. If 9 out of 10 calls from the maintenance tech is relating to inverters, that's a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, 89% was a study Sandia National Labs did on this.
Okay. So how are you solving that?
We are doing predictive diagnostics.
Okay.
So similar to the heart of a human being, an EKG can tell you when you're stressed out, when you have a heart murmur coming up. It's the signature of your heart. Much better than a stethoscope, which is a current state of the industry. Our EKG is an energy cardiograph, which is a temporary 10-minute test that uses our equipment that measures the heartbeat signal of the inverter, which then is going through a software regurgitation, our proprietary algorithm that detects the signal in the noise and then goes into a machine learning process, which is currently the state of the art is, yes, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, pattern recognition. That's the last step until we ever have the good data in the system. And that tells the plant operator two very important things. A, what parts does he need to replace before the inverter literally blows up? The second part is very important, particularly today with the supply chain issue. How much time does he have? Right? And if it's very urgent, and the difference between inverter-based systems which use electronics and thermal mechanical systems, the rate of failure, the speed of failure is so much faster in electronics.
Yeah, right.
That's where we come in. That's where our patented technology helps, because we measure really fast at very high resolution to get that heartbeat out of the system.
You're like the cardiologist of the inverters.
That's a great analogist. Yes.
In the solar. If that's a major failure point in solar and in utility grade solar, are there any, if it's got to be true when you go beyond utility grade, the guy has the same issues, same problems. Yeah. Do you see expansion into as the utility grade goes from utility to scaling it down? Do you see applications for your technology?
Absolutely, it's all in our roadmap. Currently, we need to look at the main economics. That's where we start with the big elephant, where the economics works out. EKG systems, as in medical, are expensive, so we need to manage that. The commercial, industrial, and even the residential side has very similar problems, and they use inverters. They're just scaled down.
Okay.
As we generate our business and we look at scaling our system down in size and much lower in cost, we're able to then move from the utility to commercial, industrial, to residential, and also to other applications. Okay. So ultimately, and that comes back to my background in semiconductors, ultimately we like to be the infiniral inside.
I
because
understand that.
A chip can do this highly efficient. So we have an analog digital chip for the sensing, and a machine learning chip that does it on the processor board. Then we can make actually any power converter that has to have a longevity more than a consumer appliance, reliable in the future. That's the roadmap that we see.
Fascinating, and I'm 100% with you, because I think finding the weak points in any chain is all reliability starts at design. We did not design reliability in because we have a weak point called the inverter. And as you just said, that's the critical failure point, right? And you got to go in and do it. Now, if I'm an operator and I use your process, your system, how does it help me manage? Does it make me shut down sooner? Do I have planned, wait for a cloudy day and go in and replace my inverter? So what does that mean for you to tell me there's a problem? The cardiologist says there's a problem. I need a heart surgeon.
You need a heart surgeon.
Okay, so where do we go from, hey, you got a problem?
So let me walk you through this process, since it is a different way how we perform. We help asset managers to perform much more operationally efficient the workflow.
Okay.
So it's like as simple as an app and as effective as a traffic light. The 10-minute test will tell the tech right there. Green light means move to the next, time is money. Yellow light means, we see a degradation of the inverter. Time to schedule ordering the right parts or making sure the right replacement parts, which we can see in the signature.
So you can tell them that.
We can tell them that.
When it's a yellow light.
Exactly. Yellow light means, okay, now we keep an EKG on site because now this patient is critical. Now it's worthwhile keeping the unit on site.
Okay.
If there's any fast degradation, we immediately can tell the plant manager to react. For example, with throttling back the stress, which is one of the recommendations we express, because we have the inverter make push-ups, right, to stress them out. We know it's different response mechanisms. And when you de-stress the inverter, it produces less power. But you don't lose all power at once, and particularly not possibly cascading effects of one inverter takes down the next. Like Texas, like the outage. Like a grid disturbance disturbed 9 million people in total. That's a big disturbance. So having that multi-level response mechanism between, okay, let's throttle back, let's order parts under our control, of the asset manager control, because now he can also optimize who's going out where, and which inverter of the hundreds sometimes has to be serviced first.
Yeah.
A lot of efficiency gains in the operation side can be gained that way.
Okay, excellent. How is your company's relatively new? You're a startup, right?
I call a startup until you're actually in the money and be profitable.
Okay.
So therefore, I still consider it a startup. We started out actually following Dan Torrance, who was the former head of the Department of Energy's presentation keynote in Valencia, Spain in 2008.
Okay.
Where this big display showed 59% of all unexpected maintenance cost is due to inverter problems. I looked at this, at that time I was still in semiconductor, I said, that's a big problem, we got to fix that. And I was at actually this conference at Solar Power International in 2008, 2009, when I kicked the tires and talked to inverter manufacturers, asset owners, and yes, there's a problem. You talk to engineers, they'll tell you what the problems are. And I set out to develop the technology. Now, timing is very important. At that point, there was too much money available that it wasn't encouraging operational efficiency yet. Now, 10 years later, it entirely changed. Right?
Yeah.
Cost went down 10x. Like an inverter that cost you $250,000, like a big central inverter 10 years ago, it's not $25,000.
Okay.
It becomes now a very cost-critical part. And the tariffs also went lower. So now operation maintenance cost is a big component that's not in the financial planning as a variable cost. It's a fixed cost, which is furthest from the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I think the timing to launch the company is really now.
Okay. You're doing crowdfunding. Tell me about that.
Correct. Crowdfunding is a very interesting way where you democratize investments. Democratize, have anyone participate in a mission. I mean, protecting our planet is not only a big scale investor deal. It should not only be the large utility scale companies. Everyone should be concerned, and everybody should have a stake or an opportunity to participate, even if they are not an AI engineer or power electronics engineer, right? You could participate with as little as a dinner for two in, for example, helping InfiniRail add more EKGs to the portfolio so we can create more data and get to the market faster. Time is of the essence. Therefore, we have launched the WeFunder crowdfunding campaign, which is now open till October 28th, and to raise our initial seed round through that fund.
There's something else that I learned about you, and you explained it off camera, and you explained it in such a way that I got excited about it, and it was something called Ikigai?
Ikigai, yes.
Ikigai.
Yes.
Explain that.
So Ikigai, I was fascinated by other cultures. I mean, all executive teams are all from Thunderbird in national business.
Okay.
And the Japanese coined that term Ikigai for finding your purpose in your professional life. And there is 4 elements that are attached also to emotions, which are very important to our decision making. The number one is do what you're good doing it, because there's a fear someone else is better. Secondly, do what you're passionate about, because time is irrelevant.
Yeah.
The third one is we're humans. Be of purpose, of service to another human being or the world. Could be 2, could be 200 million, 2 billion, doesn't matter. And the last one is usually the challenge with a startup. Yes, you can make money with it too. And if you find that sweet spot where all 4 circles overlap, you found your Ikigai.
I have found Ikigai.
Congratulations.
Okay. No, we're not done yet, but I have found Ikigai. No, that is one of the themes, and I'm going to kind of end with this, one of the themes that we've seen at this conference, with so many of the people that I've talked to, I get inspired because the purpose of what they do is to advance things for the betterment of the world, the future. For me, I've got children, they're out and grown and taking care of themselves. I'm kind of at the end of my life career and just kind of enjoying things, doing what I want to do, what I'm passionate about. But I have a grandbaby. She was just born 9 months ago.
Oh, congratulations.
My perspective changes. I want to leave the world better for her. And I cannot tell you how many people that I've interviewed that had that same, hey, here's what I do, why I do. Here's, we haven't had any oil companies come in here saying, I want to do it because I get paid more money to do it. We've gotten the people that came said, I want to change the world.
Yes.
The whole renewables, decarbonization, digitalization, all of that is changing the world. What you're doing is world changing, and it benefits all of society. I want you to fast forward. I want you to go 10, 20 years from now. Where's clean energy and where are we in all of this positive that we want to leave behind? Where's your ikigai perspective down the road?
Where we need to go is clearly in minimizing the fossil fuels. It's a long-term process. And our contribution on this part of the reliability system is that we have to perform the same shift as the traditional industries like automotive. Automotive can scale in large production with very reasonable low failure rates.
Yeah.
Telecom, 5 nines of reliability. They rewrote the business model
Right.
as a service, which we utilize. We have aerospace about redundancy. We have semiconductors. We're scaling to incredible millions of pieces, the power in our pocket and our phone, for an incredible low cost. The renewable energy has to adopt those lessons to be quicker. It's time is of the essence the next decade to get us to the same scalability that is sustainable not only from an ecological but also from an economic perspective, which means all parties win.
Yeah.
You know, it's that we all have to win, and we have to get there as fast as we can, which is so exciting to now really see the solar power international company now embraces more renewable energies. And that's where technology comes into play. As energy historically and still today is a finance-driven behemoth.
Yeah.
Decisions are made pure on finance, and we need to also change that mindset. And I think the new generations gets it, right? Not everybody is the Greta Thunberg, but it's these mindsets, these influences that can carry the message forward and inspire our youth, right? Yes, I've got a daughter, 20 years old, right? It's like, yes, they are the ones that see the reality is approaching faster than we think it is, and each day we're getting closer to the cliff. We need to move quicker away from the cliff, and I'm banking on our new generations to really steer the wheel faster in the right directions.
That's excellent. You hear the people applauding back there. They're applauding for what you just said. Ecology, economy, technology, inspiration. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to have some other interviews with you about reliability and how that small component of reliability, the inverter, I believe is the weak point all the way down the grid to my son's house with his solar panels and his electric car in the garage. So you've got a solution for it. Scale it, my friend.
Yes, we will do with help of some more friends. Thank you, Alan, for this opportunity and sharing the message, the mission, and Godspeed to your mission as well.
Thank you.
Transforming energy reliably.
Thank you. So all of these interviews that we have conducted have been sponsored by the people behind me. The first one is the Grid Edge Conference and Exposition, which takes place in April 2023 in San Diego. The IEEE PES Grid Edge Conference and Exposition has been a long time in the making. This will be our first one, and it will be a delight. I can already tell you that we've had more papers, more panelists than we could possibly hold, and the conference itself is going to be brilliant. The second organization sponsoring us is H2Scan. H2Scan is ubiquitous in the transformer industry as the best. It's kind of like Intel, it's inside. H2Scan is a hydrogen sensing technology that is patented, that has been around for the last 20 years. It really came on strong as transformer hydrogen became a problem. DGA recognized by IEEE. And I just thank the people at H2Scan. They are also in electrolyzers, fuel cells, battery storage, but hydrogen safety is incredibly important. They're in refining, in processing, so H2Scan, thank you. Lastly, RE+. We are at the Renewable Energy Plus Conference and Exposition, and as we close this one out, I want to thank them for allowing us to conduct these interviews here, for allowing us to be part of their incredible conference. It's been enormous. There have been 27,000 people that have attended this conference, and you can tell the energy, the excitement that's taking place within the renewables industry, so thank you, RE+. It's been a delight to do these interviews, and I hope you've enjoyed them.